Okay, guys, we're going to do our recap today. We traded two stocks, ALPN and UONE. Today we took trades on dip buys. Our, our dip buys entries were not as clean today. I was red, or I would buy them and then they would keep going further down. The stocks were just really weak today for some reason. So my entries on them weren't as precise as they usually are. I would buy them and then they would continue to go lower and they would come back up, but it was definitely a challenge trying to get in at the correct moment. So we'll break down ALPN, our first stock that we traded. So here out of the gates, you can see that it opened at 14.05 and it came down to $13. It 14 hit a high of 15 and it flushed down to 13, halted going down, and then so I jumped in here on this on this dip from it resumed at 13. I mean it halted at 13. It flushed down to 12.37. I jumped in at 12.37. Let's see, and I sold some up here around 12.80. So I mean that was a nice entry at the very low of this candle, 12.37. It was about to halt going down. That's where I jumped in here, sold 50 cents high at 12.85, the high of that candle. I sold half my position. I should have sold the whole thing, but I was thinking, okay, since it was a false halt going down, there's a chance that this might squeeze back up to 13.50, maybe even 14, and continue to go higher. That was not the case. They hit a high of 12.85, and then it came down hard. It flushed, halted down at $12. That was unexpected. So I was like, okay, well, this thing, it flushed pretty hard. So I'm thinking about buying the dip on this, buy this low and for a move higher. So out of the halt, it resumed. I got in around $12. It for some reason I sold down here around 11.65. I'm not sure why. I was down 35 cents from my entry. Luckily, I only sold a very small position, and I still had the majority of it from up here at 12. So sold some down here, and then it bounced back up, and I sold the rest up here around 12. 12. What was this? 12.20. 12.30. So this was, I believe this was a break-even trade. It was a break-even trade. It was not easy at all, but it was definitely, I believe it was a break-even trade. So on this one, we kind of did the same thing. It flushed. I bought the flush. It hit a high of 11.08 on this candle. It flushed. It broke 10.52, the support of this candle. It came down all the way down to 9.58, and then so I jumped in around 10.20 on this flush, and it continued to go lower. So I jumped in some more at 10, and that's really not what I want to do, because I mean it hit a low of 9.58, so it continued to go lower from my entry. Luckily, this stock ended up coming back up, and I sold up here around 10.30. So my average was around $10, and sold up here around 10.30. I got lucky on that one. So this was on Thursday, by the way. So the dips are not working as clean. So that, definitely something to kind of watch out for. Let's see if that was the last trade on that stock. Okay, that was the last trade on that one. Just took those two trades up here and down here. And then we took UONE. That was another stock that we traded. And I believe I had the same issues on this one. We'll zoom in here so we can see how we traded it. Okay, so this stock was trading around 14. It halted going up, halted at 16.19. Out of the halt, I'm pretty good at trading stocks out of halts. I'm able to time them pretty well. In this case, out of the halt, I jumped in on the flush. Well, actually, I jumped in on the resumption, which was 16.19. I jumped in there. It kept going lower. I jumped in around 15.80. and then I ended up selling some down here around 1550. No, I'm sorry. So I jumped in here at 1625. It came down. I sold the position down here again for some reason. So I added here on the move back up. So it dipped. I added. It dipped. I sold some by accident on the move back up. I added and I sold up here around 1630. Actually 1650. Okay, so this is how this one went. Jumped in here around $16. It flushed, accidentally sold some, then I added to my position, and then sold up here on this high 1650. It made a high of 1750, continued to go high, and then it pulled back. So this one was again tricky. I'm not sure why I sold some of my position down that low. I believe I meant to add down that at that price, but I must have pressed the wrong key by accident. So on this one, again, it halted going up at 20. Halted going up, it resumed lower, bounced up 1950. It flushed all the way down to a low of 1711. I saw that weakness, that hard flush. I jumped in around 1740, sold right under $18. Nice little 50-cent profit, 50-60 cent profit. And of course, I ended up selling my whole position up here around this level right under 18 because it ended up coming all the way down and it halted at 1711. So halted for 5 minutes. It resumed a little higher and it made a move higher at a high of 1938. Of course, this could have usually whenever they halt this hard going down, they keep going lower. But for some reason, this stock it bounced up, which is pretty impressive. So that was it on my trades. Definitely a tricky day. My entries were not as exact, and I messed up my hotkeys where I sold positions by accident that I meant to not sell and possibly add. So that it happens. There's no way around that. It's just a matter of, some of these trades are super fast, and it's just a learning experience. This stock was a crazy one, to say the least. You can see here on the daily chart. It was trading from just a few days ago. It was $1.50. It hit high of $55. That shows the kind of, and this would have even been a good swing trade. It was trading around 150. Hit a high of $40. It pulled back. This is the daily setup. A break of 22 for a move higher. Hit a high of 35 and then 55. So you could have. I'm not really good at swing trading, but I guess this could have been a good one. All right, guys. So that's it for today. Any questions? Just let me know. Thank you.